YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alice and my channel is all about living low carb, helping you become the healthiest and best version of yourself. In today's video, we have a subscriber request, which is a keto dinner under 20 minutes, our ground beef taco bowls. I call this our quick and dirty weeknight meal. It's something that we eat at least once a week, particularly on those nights where we're tired after work and we just wanna get some food in without having to order takeout. If you're doing keto or carnivore, then you know that ground beef is probably a staple in your diet as well as ours. It's economical and incredibly tasty and convenient. So the prep work here today is minimal and the amount of ingredients here is actually embarrassing to call this a recipe. But let's go over everything so we can get started. So we have 600 grams of ground beef here. This is 85/15 organic ground beef from Costco, and usually 600 grams is enough for the two of us for dinner for these bowls. I do think this recipe tastes much better with fattier cuts of meat. I haven't tried using a leaner ground beef, but I just suspect that it won't taste as good because it has less fat. Next we have cheese. You can use any cheese of your choice. I am using the Kerrygold Dubliner today, but again, any sort of shredded cheese will work. I have an avocado. Avocado is really important because you need those fats to be satiated. I have two options here. You can either use store-bought salsa or you can cut up a small tomato if you have one on hand. We have full-fat sour cream. Feel free to add whatever sides that you'd like that you have on hand that's low carb and you think it would be tasty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook this ground beef over the stovetop with some taco seasoning mix. Now you can use store-bought taco seasoning, we've done that before, no shame. But today I have everything on hand, so I'm just gonna show you all the spices that we're gonna use. I have 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, half a teaspoon of salt. You can adjust this depending on how much meat you have. Half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of sweet paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. So I'm just gonna start off on a medium-high heat with a little bit of avocado oil to coat the pan. This is a non-stick pan, but a little bit of oil. You can use tallow or beef fat, lard. The pan's been heating for about a minute. Just going to toss ground beef in there. And you just wanna mash this all up into as many pieces as you can. So once the ground beef is broken up into reasonable chunks, I'm just going to pour all my spices directly into the pan and give that a good mix. Make sure it's all evenly incorporated with the meat. Forgot to mention this earlier in the ingredients, but you can add about a teaspoon of crushed garlic just for a little bit of flavor. It does help. Make sure you add it in midway through cooking so that the garlic doesn't burn. Just keep mashing until the ground beef is completely broken up into small pieces. So it's been about 5 minutes. You can tell that the ground beef is pretty much cooked through. It doesn't take very long at all. Just going to turn off the heat and set this aside. Let it cool for a minute. Now for the avocado, you can do this as simple or as fancy as you'd like. I'm going simple today. I just have 1 small avocado that I'm going to slice up and mash in this bowl with some salt and pepper. You can definitely make guacamole if you'd like. If you were making guacamole, I'd add a little bit of tomato, a little bit of onion, cilantro, garlic and onion powder. But like I mentioned, this is a quick and dirty recipe. So I'm just gonna mash this up, and this is literally what we usually do. And the reason why I'm just keeping it so simple today is just to show you guys how fast this recipe can be. I like my guacamole a little bit chunky. If you like it really pureed, you can mash it up to your liking. If you're prepping this in advance, you want to add a little bit of lime juice or lemon juice, but we're going to eat this right away, so. A little bit of salt. And a little pepper. Better to do it on top of a plate. This is usually enough for 2 people. This might be even a little bit extra. Okay, time to assemble our bowl. Just going to grab some ground beef. Usually start with about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup per person. Have our avocado, sour cream, cheese, salsa. There's not that much left here. Just adding a little bit of fresh chopped tomato to the side and sprinkling with a little bit of green onion just to be fancy. Okay, so now it's time for the taste test. I am very hungry right now and this bowl smells amazing. I'm going to dig right in, starting with ground beef. I like to get a little bite of everything on my spoon if that's possible. Maybe I took a spoon that's a little bit too small. No, I gotta have it all. Oh my God, this is a huge bite. Can I do it? Mmm. So good, so simple, so tasty. All the spices from the beef just like permeate your mouth, especially if you like that like taco seasoning type flavor. It's delicious. The avocado is rich, it's creamy, it adds a lot of flavor. Cheese, I mean cheese is cheese. Sour cream, full fat. What more can you say? I like the little tang that the salsa and the avocado give. So you just kind of have that balance. Food really doesn't need to be complicated or have, 50,000 ingredients to taste good. This is all I need to be happy. Again, this is a calorie-dense recipe. Don't be scared of fat if you're not eating carbs. Fat is what you need. Fat, protein, both of those things. This is quite a bit of meat here actually, and this is gonna keep me full for quite a while. If you're just starting keto, you might think that you need your rice and your beans, but really that is just psychological, right? When you have this much fat and abundance in a bowl, you really don't need the things like rice and beans anymore. If it's not enough for you, add more ground beef, add more cheese, add more sour cream, or add more avocado, and it will eventually be enough. This recipe was about 15 minutes from start to finish. Perfect weeknight recipe. Perfect way to make ground beef. My favorite way to make ground beef, really, and you never get tired of the flavor. If you liked my video today, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps us bring more content to you in the future. Leave a comment down below of how you cook your ground beef if you're on a keto or carnivore diet.